Hello and welcome back to the Renewables podcast. I have bumped into a long-standing friend from the world of social media and other shows that we've met at before. This is Gavin from Sulis Electrical. How are you doing, Gavin?
All good, Paul?
Wrong podcast.
Yeah, no, all good, yeah.
So we're at Solar and Storage Live this year and we're just having a little mooch around. We've been chatting with Sam just now over on the Doncaster cable stand. I'm not going to get into all that. I want to know what you think about the industry at the minute, Gavin. What's going on in your world of business?
Business is booming. Solar and battery is showing no signs of slowing down, as you know yourself, Mark. I think there's room for improvement. I'm not overly impressed with some of the installs I'm seeing out there and the work we're having to compete against. But we can only drive the industry forward, and you can only do what you can do individually, can't you, I guess?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a battle when you see some of the shaky stuff that's going on. But there is equally a good number of decent installers like yourself out there trying their best to do things right. One of the things that's frustrating me at the minute is the slowness in the new MCS rollout. I don't know if you've been waiting on that.
I've been spoken to MCS, they're none the wiser. They say it's down to the schemes, and the schemes don't have an answer.
It's mad, isn't it? Because we've all been told about this new incoming thing we can use.
We don't know what we're working towards.
Exactly that. It's hard to put processes in place. Do we need ICE and rep? Is it going to become a choice? We won't actually firm any of those details up. So that's a frustration we're feeling. But out in your world of install, what's that kind of kit you fit in? Have you jumped onto the SIG Arabic train? Everyone's doing it now.
SIG Energy is really popular, but I'll say now, I think Give Energy have got some really good stuff in the pipeline. That new stackable system with the coloured fascias, that is going to, I think, really disrupt a lot of people going over to Energy. I think it will bring people back.
I think you're right, and they've got another product which I don't know if they've launched actually here at the show. It's called PENS, I think, where it'll actually integrate different third-party kit all into the same ecosystem.
I believe it's Modbus and RS485,
Yeah, so you could have, for example, a Solar Edge and a SIG Energy bit of kit, and also tie in the Give Energy with it all.
I think things are going to go that way, a bit like the OCPP with EV charging. I think the government will mandate all the different systems have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
So you're not tied in, or if the company ceases to trade, you can still use the equipment. It's cross the backboard. I think that has to happen.
It's essential, I think, and we took out a SunSync system this week actually, where a customer had wanted to upgrade the kit they've got, but wasn't overly keen on the SunSync ecosystem having used it. But it would have been nice if they could have added something to it rather than having to completely remove it, because it's that waste element, isn't there? And then putting stuff into the second-hand market, or even worse, recycling when it's not served its full lifespan.
And I think you see here now at the NEC, there's a lot of new products. I think it is going that way, and very stackable, modular. So you're not tied in with an old system, say 2 years down the line. It's very much adaptable.
Yeah.
A lot more integration.
Yeah,
stuff.
I've noticed that. I don't think you've been to see the guys at Alpha yet. It's still early on in the day, but they've got a nice stackable system. I think they've got an 8 kilowatt hour battery module will input and output 8 kilowatts.
Yeah.
So that's the one drawback with the Sargent kit. You're limited by the batteries to 4 kilowatts in and out for each battery module. So you could have a 10 kilowatt inverter sat on top of it, but you're limited by the batteries, whereas these companies now are all innovating to increase that. So I think that's the next kind of logical step.
I've noticed this year, less focus on the backup gateways, and that seems to have fallen away.
Yeah, we have. It's more of a nice to have than people actually wanting it all the time. We have a lot of consumers still choosing it, but it's less of a factor in terms of backup. It's more the wider integration, I think. So if they're pulling a heat pump in and they want to be able to boot it out of the system using smart locks.
From the solar point of view, I don't think there's much change in panels. I think we've almost reached a plateau of what can fit on a residential roof and what people need. It doesn't seem to have been a big leap this year.
No, it seems to be that way, doesn't it? And it's all they're doing is making it bigger. You've got to carve the damn things around on a roof.
Or they don't fit.
Yeah, I mean, on a roof where you maybe at 40 degree pitch, having a 2 metre plus panel is not ideal. In the world of commercial, in the world of commercial, it's less of an issue, like on a roof like this, because it's pretty flat. You can do a 2-man carry more easily, can't you? Yeah, I think you're right. We are kind of where we are with those now. Be interesting to see with some of the new panel technologies. There's HJT, I want to say, which is a different type of panel technology for the N-type glasses. I don't know fully how that works. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but that was a new one on me the other day from Watson, who were bringing that to the UK market.
A lot more inputs on the inverters though. Inverter sizes are getting a lot bigger.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was to account for more consumers filling more roofs up with different orientations, and such as you're not using Solar Edge, for example, you kind of have to use different MPPT for different orientations, and as panel prices are falling, I'm seeing customers ask for North roofs.
Well, I noticed on new all-in-one from Give, it's 6 independent MPPTs, which if you're doing a series of roofs with different angles, different pitches, orientations, quite potentially useful.
Yeah, absolutely ideal, and I think you're right, that is another direction we're seeing the inverter manufacturers go, and also bringing out EV chargers to integrate into the kit, because we've all had that long-standing issue of working around it by splitting the tails or trying to marry up charging times and windows for the intelligent tariffs. That's a difficult thing to do, isn't it? So,
This is where I think the industry needs to work together a little. What I say about how you have that OCPP, where the chargers can talk to different back ends. If you can have the chargers link into a common platform with the inverters to the batteries, then that problem could be solved from a software point of view, without having to play around city games and CT plants and stuff.
yeah, I think
It just needs industry and government to almost force them like EV.
it does. You're absolutely dead right, and we've had that conversation on our little podcast a few times. I think that's essential, and it has to come from government, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't see these brands choosing to do that because they're trying to drive people into their ecosystems, so it will involve that kind of regulatory pressure. It'll be interesting to see if it happens. Is there anything else you want to discuss before my arm falls off? Because this is getting heavy now, I'm going to be honest.
No, there's plenty to see, yeah.
I made the schoolboy error of forgetting the SD card from my DJI kit, and I'm using my phone, and it weighs a ton right now. Catch you all later on around the rest of the show. Cheers, Gavin.
Cheers.
So I'm just having a little look on the TIS stand around the range of gear you can get now for your testing, not just in the world of solar, but beyond. So we've got our MFTs. Obviously, we've got the Pro Plus, which is the one I use in my day job in the business. You can do your RRA, earth electrode testing on that, all your EV testing with the adapter as well. So it's like one tool for every single situation you're going to come across, really. If you've not seen my YouTube channel where we've covered this before, that's your kind of earth state kit. We actually got a video out last week or so where we've gone into that again. And then they've got the range of PV testers here. So this is your IV600, and that is kind of the all singing, all dancing kit that will do your bigger currents and voltages. And then we've got the multifunction style PV checks where we've got our ICE test, which is for your ground fault testing, and then your Pro, which will do your IVCK testing for sign off, doing all your efficiency tests as well with the rooftop solar 03. So any kind of test kit you need now when you're doing your solar systems, we do need to be verifying this kind of stuff. It's an emerging area of industry. There's still a lot of people who are testing with clamp meters and voltage indicators and stuff, which worked for a time but is less reliable now as we're moving into optimization, some of these bigger panels with split diodes and how the systems all perform when they're running with the inverters. So you need to cover that off, and then of course your isolation. So you can see here we've got the this is the one we use, the TIS 8000. So that 8000 will do DC and AC voltage detection, and it'll also do current measurement in the clamps, so through your jaws, which is really handy when you're trying to carry out safe isolation on a DC system, because you can probe onto it after you've kind of done a current check to see the inverter shut down. And then we've got these contact single pole voltage detectors up there, which I've just bought 3 of for me and the guys. And they are for if you are disconnecting your earthing system, so you're deconstructing the earth. Generally, to bring in an earth electrode for your islanding mode, you need to make sure that there is no voltage and current present when you make that isolation. If you've got a pen fault in the network, for example, or any circulating currents, voltage can present when you're deconstructing the earthing system. So it's just to make sure via a contact voltage indicator. And again, there's videos on my YouTube channel if you're bored enough to go off and watch them, which explain it. And that just helps you identify that and make sure you are safe while you're carrying out your work. So yeah, great range test kit. If you've not seen TIS before, go and check them out. We absolutely love them. They've supported us through Apprentice 1-to-1 since we started it, really. And Mark and Steve and the team are just absolute legends. So any kit you need for any testing across AC, DC, solar, renewables or otherwise, these are the team to speak with. So we'll do this one a little bit different. On prior show visits, we've kind of had conversations with people, but the installer show in June, I feel like we ticked that box and did it. So I'm going to walk you around this show and actually show you what it's like. And we'll scrap with some people here and there, I'm sure. But I'm right at the back of the Solar and Storage Live show now, and you can see there's the Kino Electric Avenue Theatre, and at the minute they've got a talk going on about operational value and stuff. So there's all this kind of kicking off, as well as the exhibitors and the brands showing their wares, and there is lots of that. There's also the CPD and technical aspect. Even if you're a consumer and you're interested in this stuff, there's loads for you to come and sit through. I think they've got 3 seminar areas where they do different talks on different things. So it's well worth coming to check out if you're not an installer or a manufacturer, to see and learn a bit about the industry, really. So as we walk up from the back anyway, this is hall 19 and 20 of the NEC. you can kind of see the layout, and there's so much kit from everyone. Like there's Luden here, who've got their new range of EV chargers. There's this Sienna and also this bigger rapid charger. You can see, so this is kind of the EV charging zone from the looks of it. I'm going to call it that, even though it probably isn't, and I bet there's lots of people spread around. But see here we've got Zavora as well, which again got the big rapid chargers. I think a lot of these manufacturers need to do something about these fly leads. As you can see on here, these are all suffering a lot with vandalism and such, so I think we need to get a bit more like retractable petrol hoses rather than anything else. But yeah, loads of different options. Rapid charging all the way down to your 7 kilowatt chargers in the world of residential systems. So it's interesting to see the kind of kit that's there, and I guess as the rollout grows around EV and solar, we're just going to see more and more of that through the course of time. You see there's another little seminar area. There's lots of these little ones as well that just kind of dotted around. You've got to keep your eyes peeled for them. So I think there's 3 big ones and then some smaller ones. So this is the Power Up Theatre that we've just wandered past there, which is interesting. And again, just little group chats that crop up covering varying topics. Some of them are really interesting, so it's well worth keeping your eyes peeled and making sure that you take them in if you've got an interest in that kind of thing. So just have a little wander around now and see what else we can see. The real scale of this show is more visible as we walk around the corner. So as I say, this is like the back end of the show, if you like. You see it going off into the distance, then it swings over to the right. So I'll find some interesting products and then jump back on for a further chat in a minute. So this is the thing that's getting really crazy. It's the size of these panels. Look at that monster. It's absolutely huge, 2.4 meters. And this is the issue we've got as installers. This is great for the power. It's like 730 watts compared to your standard side 500 watt. That's like 1800. It's just moving them around. It's absolutely ginormous. Not so much the weight. It's even a gentle breeze on them, they become hard to sort of shift and carry around. You know, on a flatter commercial roof, it's less of a problem. But any kind of pitch roof, forget about it. You're just asking for an injury at work, so you've got to be really careful with this. I think we're moving to the world where these panels are just a little bit too big, and we need to really think about that in terms of safety for us fitting the gear. So this is the Anchor Solid stuff everyone's raving about. I've seen Dan fitting a few of these, and a brand ambassador for now. Brand ambassador with them now as well, not for now hopefully. Dan, you get to keep doing that in the long term. So we've got the Anchor Solid system X1, and these do look really nice. Got to give them their dues. And you can see here you've got 3 systems in parallel. It's 90 kilowatt hours, so it's a great option. And they've got their EV charging in there as well. So in terms of the profile, just look super sleek. So full credit to them on that one. I think they look about the best on the market at the moment. And we've not fitted one yet, but it's one we would like to get into home in the UK soon. We've actually got a couple of systems where we've proposed those, and we're just waiting on the go-ahead, so we shall see. I've been speaking to Aaron from Anchor more than once, and I apologise, I just remembered I forgot to call him back actually the last time I missed his call. But we are hoping to do one of those soon. It's the way it's going, isn't it? I think the aesthetics of all of this stuff, as we've been directed to put it outdoors, especially by the PAS, people want it to look nice. You can't just be chucking these white boxes out around people's homes because they're just not going to have it. Speaking of which, yeah, this is kind of the alternative to that. And while it doesn't look offensive or anything, does it? It just doesn't look as good, let's be honest. That's the nature of the beast with these things. Aesthetics matter. So this is kind of the main hall. You can see it spans over there. I can see the side, you have the GC Energy sign in the back, so I'm going to see if I can catch up with Lewis in a bit and see what they're up to. But yeah, there's so much stuff here, and it's one of those where I've been to a few of these shows now over the last couple of years and seen a lot of this now. A lot of it is sort of all starting to merge into what the Sage Energy kit looks like. I think the dominance they've brought onto the marketplace has just got everyone so worried they've all adopted the same tactic, and it's one of those where everything's starting to look the same. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. It clearly shows they've innovated well with the modular stackable system, and that's where the Anchor Solids is a nice option to have on the market because it does look different. It's just everywhere you look with the residential systems now, there are all these white, rounded, stackable bits of kit. Yeah, noticeable wandering around how similar it all is looking. So I've just been over speaking to Lewis from Sarge Energy about their micro inverters that are on the way, and also the new commercial system that they've popped onto the market. And for those who haven't seen, Jordan at Artisan actually shared a video on that, I think last week, where he's popped it into his unit. Very similar to the Sarge install principle, it had been stackable. However, you don't always need a gateway. So if you've got 3 of those stacks together, the inverters will form the gateway of itself, which is really interesting. 50 kilowatt as well, so bigger size inverters and systems. And Sarge Energy, the way they've come into the UK market and disrupted, well, not just the UK, global market, disrupted what's been going on from a standing start. Full credit to them. And Lewis, who we're hoping to get in studio with us, having a conversation about that journey and what they've kind of done, has done an incredible job. He really has. And he's helped us out in our business as well. We're very grateful in the day job for the growth we've seen from fitting Sarge Energy kit. It's a big part of what we do now. But yeah, go and check them out. Watch Jordan's video with the new commercial grade stuff, if that is the area you're in. But again, here you can see there's other options that are all kind of innovating on similar lines. So there's the SAJ one here. This is interesting because there is a stackable 7 kilowatt EV charger in their range. So you can see here it's not just the inverter and battery modules, there is a little EV charger on there. And it's not the DC style that SIG Energy do, so that's your 7 kilowatt rating, which is an interesting option. Keeps it all nice and neat. And we've actually got an option of this coming on the channel soon where we're installing it for a customer, so we'll be able to demonstrate this kit for you in our day job. But again, they're innovating in similar ways. So we've got commercial grade stuff, which is a bit more bigger and powerful, and you can see how it all kind of stacks together and looks. It's like I say, that a lot of these brands now are all moving to this concept, and it makes sense because it is easy for us installers and it looks nice for consumers, simple to fit and scalable in the future. And that's it. People had a heat pump, you're just dropping a couple of modules on something rather than ripping it out and starting again, as we've just had to do in our day job with a SunSync system we've taken out for a customer, swapping in Sarge Energy. You know, with this kind of methodology, you're just adding more battery modules and maybe dropping an inverter on, as long as they keep the same size form. You know, it changes the game with that, decreases the risk of waste and selling stuff on just because something's changed, which I think is an important move. So you can see the Napid guys and girls here, they're at all of these trade shows and they do such a good job with their stand actually, to be fair. They've got a full technical team there who are happy to answer questions and go through stuff and engage with their contractors. They do the seminar talks, so they really do make an effort to be present and correct at all of these things. And in fairness to Andy and Steve, who've been on our podcast to talk with us before, they do a brilliant job in speaking as actual electricians in their own independent voices, but also representing NAPIT and their members really well. And I'm a NAPIT member, I think Sam is as well. But yeah, they're doing some incredible stuff, and full credit to them. As you can see there, busy, deep in conversation with their contractors, sharing their good work with everyone. So this is interesting, machinery to move your solar panels, and you can see lifting them up onto ground mount kit, so this is robotics. And I guess with the bigger panels we've just seen, maybe that's the fundamental solution to that it won't be us guys and girls actually moving them around. There'll be innovation that maybe comes and does it. We're saying we're resistant to AI in our roles, but you know, you can see this stuff in the world of robotics with vehicle manufacturing and stuff. It's not impossible to think that won't come to our sector in the end. But they still need us to join those wires up and test it all. But I think we'll be sound. It gets rid of some of the lifting and handling, all the better. See behind me there, we've got MCS. I might have already mentioned this walking around, but it's a common frustration that we've still not got that new scheme. But yeah, hopefully soon. Yeah, there's the bus, the little breakout areas. So they do this really well at Solar and Storage. A bit disappointing the carpet's not down. That's always a sign of someone cheaping out with the show. I'm gonna put them under the spotlight for that one. You go to install the show, the carpet's down. So if they win on that front, install the show, do not scrim anywhere. And yeah, Solar and Storage cutting back a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of one end of the hall all the way to the other. You can see we've got the storage theatre over there, and that's sponsored by Solartricity, who are big supporters of us at A1-to-1 training. So I'm sure that's Chris's handiwork having that put up there. So top job, Chris. You are front and centre of the whole show.
Just to interject today's show, we want to speak to you about another awesome product from Proteus, and that is the Type B. RCBO that they've just brought out, Sam. We saw that in person on the podcast we did with Proteus, and again, it's helping us as installers, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable how they have managed to engineer it to fit it all within a single module. I remember fitting the ones that are about 3 or 4 modules wide. How they've managed to engineer that into one module is an absolute... I don't know how they've done it, but it's fantastic that they have.
They have, and it's bi-directional as well. So again, thinking of us as installers for those PV and EV systems. And that is why we are so proud and honoured to be sponsored by Proteus on the Renewables podcast. But let's get back to the show.
So you can see the other theatre here. This is the commercial industrial theatre. And they look to be having a conversation about solar panels in there at the minute. So there's all these options, like I say, for... we look at the brand, we look at the kit, we look at the product, which is fantastic. There's loads of new and cool stuff here that we all like learning about. But equally, if you want to know a bit more technically, we do cover that off. So if for installers, that's good for your kind of CPD element that we need to be doing every year now. But if you're a customer or someone else working in industry who wants a bit more knowledge, just been speaking to someone who's developing an AI app who knows nothing technically about what this industry does. They're a software programmer, and he's like, this kind of thing is great, because they can just come and spend 3 days and pick through bits of knowledge from other installers, from manufacturers and all these other people here who are doing their presentations and showing their words, and get some good insight. So really, really useful. If you're a customer who's interested in kind of stuff that you can have in your home and you want to see it all together in one place without having to search the entirety of the internet, yeah, it's fantastic. See, there's even a little wind turbine over there, so the world is your oyster with this kind of thing. So the next year, if you've not been before, they do it down in London. There's this one at the NEC, well worth checking out. So we might try and grab Sam for a little chat in a minute, but I've just come over to the Doncaster cable stand where he's working. And this is the thing I'm really interested in. So this is the 6-core PV Ultra. So we do a lot of systems which need 3 strings, and this solves that problem. So you can see here we've got our 3 pairs of conductors, and I think that's going to come in 4 and 6 mil as well. Also got a variation that you can see at the back there with an earth in it. Quite if that's going to be functional earthing, bonding, if it needs to be green and yellow, if it should be pink, if we should have 2 of them. Sam raised a good point in the chat on our podcast about forming a test point through the earth as well. So there's that aspect to consider, and I was hoping to see one like EV Ultra with a data cable in, and that's really for the tap side of things, so you can integrate comms with your Tiger tap up on the roof more easily through a single cable. But I'm not seeing that presently. But yeah, this is a game changer. We're obviously still innovating that product. It's great to see. Doncaster Cables do that better than anyone else in the cable space, where we've got our EV Ultras, PV Ultras, and maybe some other Ultras coming down the line as well. So another interesting one, and I have to credit Sam for this for his Instagram stories this morning, but that's our duct seals. It is a big problem in the world of solar PV battery storage, because generally our ducts start outside and end outside, and we're kind of looking for ways to safely seal them. Not so much for fire propagation, but it's rodents and weather getting into them. And there's all these kind of options that you can use, from your sort of foam bungs that these have around the back side of them. You can see on the top there, that's a fire seal variant. And then you kind of put your clay on top. So you can see with these then you get full sealing. Down this one, that's what it's like on the inside. And then you kind of seal it over. You're stopping any moisture or rodents, insects and whatnot getting into those cable ducts. Same if you've got fire penetrations through the wall, you can do that as well, which gives you protection of your cables if you're going through different compartmentation in the building. You can see there the whole range they've got on the stand. It's an incredible kit. Shout out to Rocky Yogi and the team from Triple Solar. We've used those guys for supply of side energy kits since we started fitting it. I think more recently the volume's coming through the Rexel network, but it still fundamentally starts at Triple's warehouse doors, and they do a great job with looking after the installers out there on what is a really popular product. So keeping that pipeline going for us is so important. So yeah, shout out to Rocky, Yogi and the team. So we couldn't not visit the headline sponsor, Give Energy, front and centre as always at these shows. And these are the inverters that are coming thick and fast with this stack and scalable system. I think this is a really good move from Give Energy. That might be the reason that the all-in-one is just delayed as it has been, or all-in-two, whatever it's called. But you can see here you've got your 4 strings, optimised smart energy management, 6, 8 and 10 kilowatt rating, single phase, which is pretty much covers most bases, to be fair. We do fit a few 12 kilowatts from other manufacturers, but generally speaking that kind of does it. And then you can link these stacks together. We've got a couple of 3-phase systems in the wild that work on that basis. 10 millisecond changeover, which is super useful. And yeah, it's the modular form factor, isn't it, that does it. And like I say, these are an absolute doddle to fit. I think they're the easiest system to put together on the market. Certainly easier than SIG Energy, to be honest, in the way they do go together. And moving away from the options you can see over there, which is like the battery, I think the 9.5s and the smaller 5, whatever it is a good move. Whether that's an actual policy of Give Energy or not, I don't know. But yeah, that is definitely something I would advise. Yeah, I was hoping to chat with Simon Taylor, who's the new MD, CEO, whatever his job title is, but he's not here. So if he's watching this, I did pop by and try and catch you to have a conversation. But yeah, they've got some cool products. And I think there's an innovation coming from Give Energy that is kind of going to allow different bits of kit to play nicely with each other. So if you've got a different manufacturer, for example, you can kind of integrate Give Energy with it. So whilst I'm complaining at the minute about the all-in-one not being compatible with the all-in-one 2, there could be a solution imminently launching to market. And that was from talking to EV Man on his Twitter account the other week that I learned that, where you're going to have that possibility that you can bring different bits of kit together anyway. So maybe the way, you can see here where you've got powering home on one battery. I think this would be the 9.5 kilowatt hour battery module with a little 5.2 as well above it. Your single phase inverter, you've got your 2 MPPTs, 3.6 kilowatt charge and discharge rate, 7.5 kilowatt input. This is just a working example of one of the options they have in their range. They have got a special show offer on their EV charger actually as well. Too late when you're watching this, but 300 quid. That's an absolute bargain. I've actually got one of those on my own house. So full credit to them. I mean, we used to fit a lot of Give Energy stuff, and that kind of died a death. There was issues with customer support and things earlier on this year which didn't go very well, and the delay with the all-in-one 2 caused me a headache with existing customers who bought into the all-in-one 1. And not a choice of ours as a business not to fit it. We just saw inquiries migrate naturally over to other manufacturers. So yeah, there was that. And then I think the slow launch of that all-in-one 2, having released it, I think at Last Solar and Storage was when they had it on the stand, and then it's still not publicly available, and consumers, they're fickle and they're just waiting for that launch of the new one and don't want to buy the old one. So we had that problem as well. But hopefully that, I mean, they're obviously clearly selling product because they're here exhibiting, and one of the bigger brands in the industry as a UK-based company with their software, as they explained on the podcast with us, hosted here in the UK. It'd be really nice to see them continue and grow that success. I think that's something to celebrate in Britain. And certainly with Doncaster Cables, where Sam's working, I think that's really important. There's kind of been a pushback from the industry of things, which I've said in my own content that I found a bit weird, that we're singling out a particular cable type of manufacturer for this critique and criticism with no understanding of the upside and the potential damage that does to that brand and innovation, when really we should be trying to elevate these things that are coming out of our country and the successes and ideas that we are taking forward and finding ways for them to work. I think that's a really important thing for us to do. Sometimes we can be hypercritical, and if we really want, we can find a reason not to do anything. I've said that before, that we can use standards and regs to pretty much stop anything from being done if we really want to. So yeah, Donny Cables, full credit to them. They're absolute powerhouses in innovation. And hopefully the recent knockings of certain articles that are out there, and I've gone into this in my own content, so I won't buy it for any of you on here, and I know Sam won't say anything because he's involved with that cable innovation. It's not his bag to kind of promote his own kind of stuff he's on with, but it's changed the game massively in the world of solar. It's made things safer, neater, easier, more likely to survive in the long term. There's so many upsides to that, and to see that bashing of the product, I just can't make rhyme or reason or logic of that. It's another misstep along the same lines of this bloody single insulated cables in meter cabinet nonsense. We need to be doing so much better around messaging from the industry of things with that. And yeah, full credit from myself on behalf of the Renewables podcast to Doncaster Cables and Sam himself, because he'll be the last person to pick himself up, as much as I've just mocked him on Instagram for being a salesman, shifting Rumprotec cable winders en masse. You know, he's very modest and humble in what he's achieved there, bringing that to market. And it's a game-changing product. Let's get behind it. Certainly the Renewables installers community, and push that cable innovation out globally, because I think there's an upside there beyond just our little country and island for this to be absolutely massive in rooftop and PV safety around the world. So we've got this new innovation from Give Energy that I've just kindly been run through by one of the reps. I think is it Sam?
Yes.
Yeah, by Sam, and just going through the product here. And this is a new battery system that they've got. So basically, if you've got an existing string inverter and it's kind of at its end of life, so your old SMAs and such, and you're not quite ready to commit to the battery element as yet, you can swap it for this little guy up here. Really small, discreet, costs the same as a string inverter as well. And then if you eventually opt for that battery system later on, it's simple integration, so it kind of plugs in, see off the side of here, straight into the inverter, and that will DC and AC couple. Put your 4 modules high, you can see here it's up to 6 kilowatt hours capacity on each one, and it works down to -20. You can add a new battery in at any time, so self-calibrating. And you can see here that this option has an inverter down on the bottom. You can put that inverter anywhere in the stack, and that will allow you then to make use of this as a standalone option without this secondary component. So if you're just wanting this as a stack of itself, you can do that. You can see on the side there you've got your MPPTs going into it. There is these different finishes as well on here, which is nice, and there will possibly be an option to paint it your own colour, so it kind of comes primed ready. So if you're putting this on a rendered wall outside and you want to match the colour in with the existing building, you'll have the option of doing that. I think this is a really good move from Give Energy. There is a lot of upside to this product, and obviously this is the all-in-one too, which is the it's been the talking point of Give Energy's range since the last solar and storage, and that is now, when this is out, hopefully available on the market. But I think this will be another flyer for them. Really neat solution, especially the way it will integrate with older inverters. It gives you that option if a customer's not quite ready for the battery storage to kind of preempt that, which I think is nice. There's no stackable option for an EV charger. It still is very much working with the existing range, and there isn't a gateway, and at present it's just single phase. So if you're wanting the gateway and backup, you'd need your all-in-one too. In the future, there's the potential with Give Energy bringing products forward that will allow cross compatibility amongst their own range, so you can have different products working on the same system and equally from different manufacturers. But this is a really cool thing. I like this a lot. Thumbs up from me. So we've got the all-in-one 2 here, and you can see here that is 6 MPPTs, which is nuts. So you can have loads of strings going into there. And I first saw this at Solar and Storage last year, and I believe it's imminently launching, as in tomorrow, so that's finally out. But you'll note on the top there's the stackable option, so I assume there might be other innovations coming that'll stack on top of this in the future, maybe an EV charger or something, as a guess. But form factor looks very similar to the old all-in-one. The gateway is thinner, as you can see over in the distance there, but it is also a little bit longer. Not that that's a problem. Same IP ratings, nice weatherproof seal on the door. There's a few more spare ways in there, so you can put other bits and pieces in it. You've got your bypass switch, your grid, your general backup power, your all-in-one, and then your PV input breaker at the top. So same sort of functionality, but if you're adding EV chargers, or I don't know, air conditioning maybe, or whatever else, I'm speculating here, I've not seen inside it, you have the option to do that. But the all-in-one, you've got double the output power, so this is 12 kilowatts instead of 6, which is a big step up from the original range, and it will go down to -20, and it says here that it is compact, scalable, and future-proof. So that'll be interesting to see if that plays out as true, because we know with the all-in-one and paralleling them up, it didn't end up quite the way it was first intended, I don't think, in fair summary to Give Energy. But we're excited to get some of these installed in my day job. We've got a few customers waiting on this, and it's great to finally see that we've got that progress and product launch. So that's the Give Energy stand. I'm hoping to grab Simon in a second and have a little conversation with him, see if he wants to have a chat on camera or not. But yeah, let's move on.